charges. Since then, investigators have zeroed in on Maxwell. But her defense team arguing that Jeffrey Epstein manipulated the world around him and the people around him, including Ghislaine, and describing her as a scapegoat for his actions, a sentiment echoed by Maxwell's family.
The authorities lost Epstein on their watch in federal custody, theoretically under 24/7 guard, and they're taking it out on my sister. And that's just damn wrong.
3 alleged victims who were minors at the time are expected to testify against Maxwell, including Annie Farmer. Farmer, the only alleged minor victim in the case to publicly identify herself, adamant that Maxwell was complicit in Epstein's abuse.
Looking back at the series of events now, it's just so clear how Maxwell was a really important part of the grooming process, and they worked together as a team.
And David, Maxwell has pleaded not guilty to all 6 federal counts. Today we heard from Epstein's former pilot, but of course everyone waiting for the testimony of Maxwell's accusers. David?
All right, thank you, Ariel.
Jane fought back tears when she described flying from her home in Palm Beach to New Mexico, where she saw Maxwell and was told Epstein wanted to see her. I felt my heart sinking into my stomach, she said, her voice cracking, because I didn't want to see him. Maxwell is charged with grooming underage girls to be sexually abused by Epstein. She denies the charges. Maxwell's attorneys have sought to portray Jane as someone merely out to collect money from Epstein's victims fund. Earlier today, Epstein's longtime pilot, Lawrence Viscoski Jr., testified he flew powerful and famous men on Epstein's private plane, including Prince Andrew, Kevin Spacey, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump. He said he never witnessed any sexual activity. Viscoski also testified Epstein introduced him to a young woman as they once boarded, since identified as Jane. He described her as a mature woman. She was a teenager at the time.
And Mola Lenghi joins us now from outside the courthouse. And Mola, I know you heard Jane's testimony today. Take us inside the room.
Laura, you could hear the discomfort in her voice as she testified, the sighs and the deep breaths before answering questions, at times getting emotional, and often sounding deflated, especially when she was recalling the more graphic details. The defense will continue their cross-examination of Jane tomorrow, Nora.
Mola Lenghi, thank you.
The 59-year-old alleging it was Maxwell who showed her how Jeffrey likes to be massaged.
This is very powerful, very emotional, very personal testimony coming from this witness.
What are you going to be saying like this?
Earlier today, Epstein's longtime pilot, Larry Viscoski, testifying that Epstein introduced him to Jane in the cockpit more than 2 decades ago, remembering her as a mature woman with piercing powder blue eyes, but claiming he did not know her age. Viscoski also saying he only knew who was on board the jet if it was someone noteworthy like former presidents Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Prince Andrew, all of whom are known to have socialized with Epstein in the past. Viscoski emphatic he never saw any sexual activity on board. Maxwell has pleaded not guilty to all 6 federal counts, her defense team saying she has been a scapegoat for authorities.
The challenge for prosecutors is making sure they don't focus too much just on Jeffrey Epstein, because that's exactly what the defense is arguing.
And David, today Maxwell's attorneys stressed that 20 years have gone by and questioned Jane about why it took her so long to come forward with allegations against Maxwell. They will continue their cross-examination tomorrow. David?
Ariel Resha back with us tonight. Thank you.